Just do that.
Okay, so again, thank you very much for all the introduction. What I wanted you to do first is here what I call the statement of intent. Yeah, statement of intent. And what does statement of intent means? Obviously, you've paid to if you invested to come in and grow yourself, you invested to take your life to the next level, to get things that you want to do, to get it done. Obviously, if you have a pen and paper, which normally we'll expect you to have in this type of investment, you have a paper, a journal that you normally will write things in. I want you to, I can send you a screen grab of this, but I want you to just make a commitment. Yeah, make a commitment in your heart to say you will participate fully in this program. Yeah, and you will not permit yourself to have any excuse why you cannot follow through your commitment. This is very important. Commitment. Yeah. All right. So if you can just repeat after me, right? Say, you repeat after me, statement of intent around this is you are committing to make a difference in your life. Now, why do I do this? In the other academy that I run, where I help people to get jobs and project management and stuff, when people come to my program, I always ask them first, how much do they want to earn? Some people come in there and say, oh, they want to earn, small money because they can't really think big. I begin to challenge them and say, look, how much money do you want to make? You get people saying, okay, eventually they get to £500 a day or whatever it is they want to make. And I ask them to write it down. I decree that I will make so and so, every day in the next 3 months, something like that. And I ask them to write it down, put it near their bed. So when they wake up in the morning, that's the first thing they see when they go when they're about to sleep at night. That's what they see. They just rehash that and put that, over and over and over again. There was a lady that came into one of the sessions. The first time we're talking about, then I think she was on £300 a day. I was asking her to stretch, 500, 550. She was like, oh man, that was too big, she couldn't even conceive it, But some years down the line, she was able to earn even far more than that. And she told me, oh man, look at that. I said, when you write it down, it is possible, So so I want you to repeat after me if you're ready. Say, I commit.
I commit.
I commit
To participate in the program fully.
To participate in the
program fully.
And I will not permit myself.
And will not permit myself.
And I will not permit myself.
To have any excuse.
To have any excuse.
To make any excuse.
Why I don't follow through on my commitment.
Why I don't follow through
Why
on my
I don't follow through on my commitment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Help me God.
All right. So God is going to help you. So virtually, I'm reaching out to my hands now. I'm shaking you with that, So just imagine me shaking your hands where you are and say, good job. Thank you for making that commitment. All right. So we're going to work on this journey together. Okay. So what are we going to get out of this session? This session, the primary purpose of this session, I mean, if you have watched this before, this is just going to be a rehearsal for you. But if you have not watched the online vision stuff, it's okay. Again, I'm going to step through this. Where I'm really trying to get to is the exercise. Now, the purpose of this is for you to gain clarity on the power of vision and purpose. Essentially, you're trying to find out what is your life purpose. Why is that important? It's important because I don't know if anybody can relate to this. Have you ever achieved something in life, and after you got it, you say to yourself, is this really all there is to it? Has that happened to anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
It has happened, right? So, man, you again, if you don't want to share, feel free not to. You can paraphrase if you want, but I think you want to share. What is it that you sort of said, oh man, I'm gonna get. Then everybody said, oh, what's that? Does anyone want to share?
I'm trying to think of something.
Well, I got a great salary in my previous job, but I was very, very unhappy just in my personal life. I was away from family and close friends. And so, it really didn't seem to make sense to me. That on the one hand, professionally, I was doing great, but then personally, I just wasn't happy.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think? What do you think happened there? That's a misalignment, is it?
Yes, yes.
It's a misalignment of what you have achieved when that is compared to what really resonates with you deep down.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some exercises we're going to do towards the end that will try and bring to life to you those things that are dear to your heart, so that when you are defining your goals and you are when you're defining your goals and all that stuff, you are actually doing that from a place that aligns with the core of who you are, you know. So for example, maybe let's take an example like Abena, for example. Abena could be she's into law, she got this legal degree and she's pursuing that career. But deep down, if what she's doing doesn't align with a vision of changing the world and impacting life, you can make all the money. You could live in the big house. You could do all that. But they say you could still have this sense of like, oh man, this is not what I'm looking for. There's something you're searching for. And the way we have been wired is that each one of us has what they call a global positioning system, like a GPS. Your internal GPS is that which essentially, is wired into you for the things that resonate with you. Therefore, it's preferable for us to define your life's vision statement around what makes you tick, so that when you have clarity around that, then your goals can come on the back of that. I hope that makes sense. Did that make sense?
Yeah, so if I understand it, essentially what you're saying is that before you even look at setting your goal, you must have an understanding of what your core values are, which must align with your life vision.
Yes, because nobody ever came to this world without a gift, without a purpose. You understand? And I know that is a very generic statement. Some people might say, okay, what about people that are born crippled or whatever? I'm just talking, without going to those who got born into this world with some sort of things that they can't control, but if you're here and you have everything sorted out, there's a reason why you're here. Even there's this guy, this guy, Nick Vujicic, is that his name? The guy that doesn't have, I think he doesn't have hands. You could see somebody like that who doesn't have hands, right? And you could say you could live a pitiful life. You can complain and say there's nothing in my life. But this guy today is actually a top influencer in the world. He runs our youth programs. He actually, John Maxwell called him he invited me to come and talk to us one of those days, and people really got impressed. Like, oh man, how can somebody who doesn't have doesn't have hands? It's like, how could he achieve so much? Therefore, really, then we don't really have an excuse, to not achieve, great things in this life. So
yes, the question I have, sorry to interrupt you, is really more around the gifts and talents where you're not sure what they are and they're not immediately obvious to you, and therefore you don't necessarily know what your life vision is. How then do you go about drawing those out, really?
Yeah, so there's an exercise at the back of this session, which is called the life's vision, the gift, I call it the gifts paradigm exercise. Yeah, which essentially talks about, I'm going to get there in a moment, which will help you to say, okay, what are the things you see in you right now. For example, there will be things that bring you joy. Does that make sense? There are things that when you do them, you are in the zone, as it were. You are in the zone. There's a way you feel inside. That is an indication of things that align with this is probably where you should be going. And as you pursue that pathway, things become clearer and clearer and clearer to you. So there's an exercise at the back, which is the last exercise in today's session that I will ask us to do. And then when you go deep down and begin to ask questions based on the exercises, it will unravel some things deep inside of you. Yeah. So let's get to that exercise. We'll come back and take this question. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the key takeaway for today is the ability to be able to write your life's vision statement. Now, obviously, I know some of you haven't watched the video. The assignment is therefore is to, after this session, go back and watch the video, and then please, if you have any question, just give me a call or you chat with me in the chat WhatsApp group, and then we can walk you through. So, one thing I want to talk about vision, right? Is about the mental picture of the result you want to achieve, right? So, there's something that happened to me some years back. I had a dream, and that dream, I had it was like somebody was trying to cover my eyes, right? Kind of blurred, and I was driving, but I had this, these hands covering my eyes or something covering the windshield. I couldn't see properly. And I was shouting, "Take your hands!" I can't see. And I heard a voice says to me, "You cannot drive forward with a blurred vision. If you do, a crash is imminent." So essentially, if you're thinking about going in the right direction, you must be clear about where you're going. So therefore, defining and finding your life vision is of paramount importance. So for example, you might be a business analyst right now. That could be the pathway, but deep down you're thinking, I don't really enjoy this as I should. Does that make sense? So you could have goals that in the short term is achieving something, but in the longer term, what I really want you to be thinking about is long term. What do I really want to be long term? Right? What do I want to really be long term? One thing that happened to me, I think I said it in the video, when I began to realize, what I was called to do, was I went into the prison. I was called to come and I was a youth leader in my former church, and I was asked to go talk in the prison to some inmates. And while I was there, they came in out there to sit down to listen to me speak to them, and they were fallen, dejected, hopeless, and stuff like that. And as I stood on the podium, began to speak to them. I began to speak to them, motivating them and encouraging them and telling them about the love that God has for them. I saw transformation right there in my presence, right? It was like, wow, what is happening here? And I had like an eureka moment. I said, this is it. There's a knowing, there's a way I felt inside. That's almost like being being united with the universe. I don't know how to explain. There's a feeling that I had at that moment that says, this is what you're called to. This is what you are built to do. Something like that. So that came to me in that moment. So Brian Tracy says, decide upon your major definite purpose in life, and then organize all your activities around it. When you have a personal vision, it will provide clarity for you. So you need to be clear why you are here on earth. One example also that God gave me one time was, God said to me, that this Usain Bolt guy, God said, imagine Usain Bolt is running a 100-meter race and he's going straight forward 100-meter ball. A lot of time is just looking at the side of the 100-meter race. People that are cheering him on. Hey, Usain. He's looking at the side. He's signing autographs. He's stuff. And God said to me, how in the world is he going to be number one? How is he going to get to the end of that race? And I say, that will be difficult. And God said, that's it. You have to have a purpose and you have to be laser focused on it. Okay. Is there any question before I move on? Any question on this one? Any question? Okay, no question. All right. Now, your vision is the why behind everything you do. Your vision is the why behind everything you do. So there's a note I had, I'm going to post it shortly. And I said, the vision is the why. The goal is the what. The activities that you do on a day-to-day basis is the how. Say that again. Your vision is the why. The goals you're going to set is the what. And the activities you do on a day-to-day basis to achieve those goals, which then align with the vision, is the how. How am I going to do this? So let's say your vision is to change the world with positivity. How do you want to do that? You can set goals whereby you're saying, your goal this year is to impact, say, 1,000 people with the positivity, in this year, whose life will be transformed. How are you going to be doing those? That could be through seminars, could be through your books, it could be through engagement on social media. So essentially, when you are then doing those things, you are running those activities that are aligning with the goals you set and fulfilling the ultimate overarching vision for your life, there's a way you feel inside. There's a way you feel resonance. You feel like you are adding impact, value to the world. You feel like there's a reason for your existence. You feel like you are actually living. The greatest impact we can have in this life is to help another person. The greatest impact we can have in this life is to help another person. So I want you to think about this exercise for a moment. Yeah. If you imagine that, please don't get too graphic here. If you imagine that today is your last day on the earth and you're to look back upon your life. Today is the last day that you're here and to look back upon your life and you want to sort of check, have I lived a fulfilled life? I'm going to ask you, what were those things that will come to your mind? What were those that will come to your mind that will make you feel, man, my life has been fulfilled. I've really lived a life. What do you think are the things that will float up in your mind? Who wants to help me here?
I think for me,
Yeah.
if, on my deathbed,
yes,
I've made a difference to people's lives, I've touched lives in some way, shape, or form, that would be for me enough to know that I've lived a life of purpose, that I've made a difference to somebody, even if it's just one person.
All right, that's interesting. And Jerry, over to you.
Yes, so for me, it would be that I've encouraged people.
I've encouraged people. I've encouraged people. Interesting.
Yes.
I've encouraged people.
Loved,
I have what?
And I've loved deeply.
You've loved people. You have encouraged people. All right.
Yeah.
Abby, are you still there? I don't know whether you can hear me. If you cannot, you can let me know. It can be maybe Abby is gone, but I think I see Suffolk. See someone here. Okay. So now I got a question for you. Jerry, yours is encourage people, love people. Abena is I've lived a purposeful life. I've changed somebody's life. What do you think is the common denominator in the two statements?
It's about impacting others.
It's about impacting others. Service. Jerry, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
How come none of you mentioned a beautiful palace in the French Riviera, yacht on the IC, private jets, gold bullion? How come you didn't mention that?
Because those things, one, are ephemeral. I mean, you're going to leave them behind anyway, but the impact you have on another would outlive you. But more importantly, those things, for me, it's about money, and it's just energy. Money's just energy, isn't it? So it's money is a byproduct of the good that you do. So if you're providing service that, to others, in a way that generates money for you, and you're a billionaire, it's just a byproduct of the good that you do out there in the world. So okay. And then having a yacht or a palace in the Riviera or wherever, it's just a byproduct of the freedom that money gives you to live that kind of lifestyle. But I don't think it's the reason to chase money, because that's not what will give you fulfillment. Because for me, I think it's around the three pillars in terms of your health, your happiness, and wealth. Those are the three things that I strive for. There's no point in being like Howard Hughes, my view, making all this money in the world, being unhappy and miserable and a recluse. What's the point? I want to be healthy and wealthy. I want to be happy and wealthy.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about something that makes life complete, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, you want to have a wholesome life. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with having a lot of money, but you also don't want to have money and lose your soul or lose your health or not live in peace. But ultimately, when we look in our hearts, and this resonates with everybody in the world. It's just that people might not really realize it. It gets to a point in life you're thinking for more of significance. You're thinking of legacy. You're thinking of how can I touch another person's life that will leave a mark in the sand of time. You're thinking more in that space, right? So, and I think that's why the loftiest goals or the loftiest vision in life is essentially to define something that aligns with how to impact others, generationally or intergenerationally. So that's the reason why, asking that question is better to help you to clarify what you should be pursuing and the kind of goals you should be setting. You have that higher level of ideals in your mind. Yeah. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for sharing. All right, let's quickly do, because I know we got 20 minutes. Yeah. So there is I'm going to skip the cruciality of vision. Please, it's in your notes. So let me share my screen again. It's in the online class. Please do go back and check it. I want to do this exercise. Okay. So in the can you see my screen now?
Yes.
So in the cruciality of vision, why vision is crucial, I gave an example about Usain Bolt earlier about the fact that when you have a vision, it must inspire action, right? So when you have a vision, it must be something that wakes you up in the morning. You keep it laser focused, and you keep working towards it. I heard a story told one time about those who were going to the moon for the first time, and I said the guy was saying that when you see them shooting the rocket to the moon, you think, oh, they got there without any detour. He said, no, when you shoot the rocket to the moon, at times, the rocket might, sort of, get a little bit of detour from the trajectory and they just bring it back. So vision is like your GPS in your car, right? Let's say you want to go to somewhere, right? What do you do first when you want to go somewhere? When you want to use your GPS? Abina, what do you do first?
Well, you get in the car and program the destination.
So the first thing you put is the destination. So how then does the GPS take you to the destination? Who can help? Wants to try? Have a go at it. Okay, let me answer the question. See, when you put the destination in there, the GPS doesn't start from where you are. It starts from where you are going, and then it works its way back, and it works its way backwards. The GPS doesn't work from where you are to where you're going. No, it goes to where you're going first, a mental picture of where you're going, and it begins to walk backward to where you are. And I say, oh, it's 50 miles to get to where you're going. So that is exactly the way your vision will be to you. That's the reason why the vision must be clear. It must inspire action. When it is clear, you see where you are going. When you see where you're going, the other thing it does is that it helps you to select the right kind of friends, the right kind of people that you're hanging out with. Does that make sense? So essentially, let's say, for example, you are desirous to impact lives, in a particular area. You begin to find out that because you are very clear about where you're going, you automatically start to attract the right kind of people into your life. It is like what they call it. Is it like a homing beacon? Like when you fire a missile, it is like this guided missile, like a torpedo. When you fire the missile as well, it works the same way. Missiles goes first to lock in the target, and then it begins to track it. So wherever the target goes, the missile is following it because it's focused on where it is going. So that is the way your vision must be. The other point I have here actually is that your vision should be positive. Don't try to motivate yourself with a vision of bad things happening if you don't succeed. Angie, do you understand what I'm saying there? So don't say, now, don't say, I don't want to fail. And therefore, the motivation to setting your vision is based on you don't want to fail. Why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing to say, oh man, I don't want to fail, I don't want to fail?
I mean, for me, I see that very much from, the mindset perspective. It's about what you're feeding your mind. If you're feeding your mind thoughts of failure, you're invariably taking action from a place of fear, and that will create failure anyway. I also see it from the point of view of manifestation, in terms of very much what we give out to the universe. The energy you give out is the energy that comes back to you. So if you have thoughts of failure, then guess what? It's failure that comes back to you. As Bob always used to say, if you think in debt, you'll always remain in debt.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that contribution. Angie, what do you think?
At least from my own personal experience, it's not sustainable. So it will get me only so far.
Yeah.
But for the long haul, I need something that's really more just positive, and it's not driven by fear. Because when I'm driven by fear, then I feel like my back is against the wall, and I'm always trying to fight something or someone.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not at my best.
That's right. And let's do an exercise here. Let's do an exercise here. A quick exercise. Yeah. Let's take a moment to think about the time that we failed before. You were doing something, you didn't get it right. Can you remember an occasion? Can any one of you remember an occasion where you're trying something, you didn't get it right? Are you with me, or you lost? Or I've lost you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, God, what a time when I haven't failed.
Oh no, don't. Okay, I see. Your mind is conditioned that way, which is very good. Which is very good. So because you've become so positive minded. But I think what I was trying to do is that if you think about a time where you try to do something and you didn't achieve it, or you had somebody say to you, you're not worth it, or you're not good enough, there's a way you feel inside.
Yeah. Makes you feel worthless. You don't feel.
Exactly. You don't have the energy. You feel like you can't.
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah. And truth be told, the reason why we don't achieve what we want to achieve is because of this internal self-dialogue that constantly sabotages where we're going.
Yeah.
We say, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Who do I think I am? Well, nobody in my family has done it before. How can I make £1 million? How can I make £2 million? How is that possible? How is that going to work? And because you're constantly feeding your mind that kind of thought process, the vision that your mind sees is this person expects to fail. There's something that happened to me some years back. My wife asked me to go and get something from the cupboard in the kitchen. And as I was going to the kitchen, I told myself, man, I'm not even going to see it anyway, because I don't know why she's sending me this thing now. I won't see it. And I got to the front of the cupboard, to be told, and I was looking at the cupboard, and I was looking for the thing, and I didn't see it. But that thing was standing right in front of me, but I never saw it. Why?
Yeah, you condition your mind.
Exactly. Because I told my mind that I'm not going to find it. And guess what my brain does? My brain sends a message to every nervous system in my body. Says, Davis has already said he's not going to find it. So please cooperate with him so that he will find it.
That's the power of your subconscious mind.
You see that? And Jerry, you see the beauty of what we're talking about here?
Yeah. It's deep.
Yeah. Your mind says, oh man, he's not going to. And that happens to me. And when I realize, oh, this is the way I've programmed my mind in this area, guess what I started to tell myself? Oh man, I'm going to find it. We're just waiting for me to pick it up. I'm just going to find it. It's waiting for me to pick it up. And there's something I want to share with you here quickly. There's a short video I want you to watch. Yeah. Let me bring it up. Thank you for the contribution. Let's keep it real and humming, you know. I want to just show you something here. There's something we called because I'm recording, it's not allowing me to minimize it. I don't know whether Abby, you've had this before. RAS.
RAS.
RAS. I'm just gonna share my entire screen because I can't find the oh, okay, I got it in my note actually. Got it in my note here. Apologies. Let me bring it up. It's easier for me. Can you hear? Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yet, not yet. You haven't started playing.
Just going to share sound.
So here's the thing, right? If you focus on winning, playing it big, success, happiness, closing big deals, making the right sales, building the right relationships, positivity, if you focus on those things, you will get those things. But in the same way, if you focus on looking to get offended, being victimized, hurt, negativity, you'll also get those things because that's what you're focusing on. Now, how does this work? We all have this part in our brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And what this does is your body is being bombarded with its 5 senses with so much sensory information that the RAS is designed to filter things based on what you focus on and what your self-beliefs are. So if you're looking to win, looking to play it big, looking for business opportunity, looking for sales, looking for what it is that will help you have a better life, the positive things in your life, the RAS will filter those things and bring them to you, so you'll be very alert of them when they cross your path. But if you're focusing on the negative things and you're looking to be offended, and in the world now there's so many things that you could see that could come through social media from all these different things that are quite polarizing, that could have an effect on you or you could be offended by, then if you're focusing on those things, the RAS will bring those things into your awareness, okay? So focus on positivity, not negativity. And if you want to test this out, you can do a very simple exercise. Think of a specific vehicle that is in your neighborhood or in your estate or your suburb, whatever it might be. So here in Australia, we've got certain vehicles that are on the road. So take something that's an average vehicle that might be out there. It might be like here, it might be like a Ford Fairlane, a Ford Falcon, or a Range Rover, or a specific type of vehicle. And imagine it for 10 to 15 seconds. Imagine everything about it, and then go about your next 24, 48 hours and see how many times that vehicle is in your awareness and you're alerted by it. It's the same thing like when you're thinking about buying a certain car and you think, oh, I want to get this car, then every time you drive, you'll notice those specific cars on the road because your RAS is now filtering the thing that you put your focus on. So use this tool. We all have it in the back of our brain. If you're human, you have it, right? So you have this power to use that system and focus on the things that help you. So focus on positivity. Gary Vee talks about this all the time. Focus on winning, focus on the positivity, because if that's what you choose to focus on, and it doesn't take much energy, it's just a choice that you make here. If you choose to focus on the right things, on winning, on prospects, on closing your deals, on making the right decisions in your life, on building the right relationships, and you're focusing on the positivity, the RAS will filter those things and bring those things to the top of your awareness so you can take the best and most efficient opportunity that comes in front of you. Don't go down the path of looking at things that might affect you from a negative point of view, because again, it works the same way. It will filter those things for you so you can talk about that thing that you're focusing on.
All right, cool. I think because of time, I'll also send you that link. Now, did any one of you get what he's talking about there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Has it happened to you before, NJ?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, and I think, as you raise your awareness level, you become more conscious, of that fact. And, the more you focus on something, the more it comes your way.
Yeah.
Because your awareness of it is increased. So unfortunately, most of us are conditioned to focus on the negative And that's what we constantly draw to us. But we don't realize that we're consciously actually manifesting the negative. So, and as he said, it doesn't take much. You actually turn it around and start consciously manifesting the positive, because that's exactly what will come to you. So it's all part of the brain training, isn't it? And
that's right.
Shifting of the paradigms that you talked about earlier.
That's right. And it's something that it is very easy to do, is because the more you have a consciousness, it's okay. Why am I doing that? Because at times, a lot of people work in autopilot where we're actually not filtering information. But the moment you start to know that you can actually choose, it's like, no, that's not what I want. And that's why the whole visualization, affirmation thing then come to play to help us. Okay. NJ, do you comment before I want us to do the exercise, because I know, please remember you can go back and watch the video, the actual course itself, but I just want to do a practical example here that will help us.
How long's today's session? 1 or 2 hours?
We're starting with an hour first. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As an introduction, really. Yeah. So, NJ, do you have any comment?
No, I found it interesting. But yes, I can see, when I think back, mostly towards, like if I'm looking for parking, then I'm really believing that I'm going to get a parking spot, and then it actually appears. And also like Range Rovers, I love them, and I find myself seeing them everywhere. And now I'm like, oh, why does everyone have a Range Rover here? Yeah.
What you should then do next, NJ, is not just love them. You should not say, I want to own one.
I want one, because it will come into your existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
NJ, I need to share with you the Neville Goddard exercise around manifesting $1 million. And
please do.
Yeah, I need to share it with you. He did an amazing exercise. It's a ladder exercise. He basically was teaching people how they can manifest. So he said to them, go and basically do this ladder exercise. And then when you see a ladder, come back to me and tell me that you saw the ladder. So people who did it, they saw a ladder. And he came back and said to me, how stupid are you? Imagine if you'd visualize $1 million, where would you be? So
yeah, true.
So
true.
Davis is spot on. Now this is the car I want. It'll come to you.
Yeah, yeah. And it has never failed. This thing that we're talking about is never failed, NJ. That's never failed. I'm telling you, never failed. I think, again, we talked about earlier, we are the one who are self-destructing ourselves. I'm telling you the truth. The moment I started to think about making multi-million pounds in terms of income, something just changed in that. But it took me a long time to get there. I can think, oh man, whatever. But the moment I started to change my thinking that this is actually a possibility that I can have it, the businesses that I then attract started to change. And the truth of the matter is that these businesses, NJ, were there all along. It is because I have not attuned my mind to that frequency.
Yeah.
Money is a frequency.
Yeah.
In fact, everything in this world is a frequency. If you think about anything in the physical world that we see here, everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. And therefore, to attract that thing into your life, you must operate at the same frequency as that thing. It will come to you.
Yeah.
All right. And it is. And how do you operate? You just start to align your mindset to align with that thought process, to say, this is where I'm going, this is what I want. At times it might take you a while to get there because of consistency, but you ultimately, attract what you think about, what you focus on. You ultimately attract it, because the God factor in us, God has placed in us the ability to do that. There's something I say to people all the time: we are co-creators with God, which means God has created everything in the world, right? But God also will not create in your life what you have not allowed him to create. So you have to cooperate with him, as it were, to make sure that works for you. So how do you cooperate with him? Begin to think God's thoughts after him. Begin to think, God wants me to have it, therefore I'm having it. Everything in this world serves me. I live in abundance. Don't make decisions out of lack or there's no money in my bank account. A lot of people at times when you want to do something, say, oh, I don't have money. Therefore, you are looking at what is in your bank account before you make a decision. So already you're thinking in reverse. You're thinking, oh, I don't have money, which is the natural, logical thing to do. But it is not the way to go. The way to go is to see what you want, believe for it, and think about it all the time. And then as you begin to think, how do I make $1 million? How do I make $2 million? The ideas will start to come to you.
Yeah, you think from faith, not from fear.
Exactly. The ideas will start, the moment I start to think, how can I make £2 million? The ideas that I just sat down, I just said, how can I make £2 million? But you have to, first of all, rise up to the feeling that I deserve 2 million, I deserve 5 million, I deserve 10 million. And once you say, I deserve it, okay, how can I make it? Then the ideas start to come to you. Okay, what about if you do this and do this and prices at this, whatever, which we're going to do that in the goal breakdown structure, which I'm going to help you to do. When you bring your main goal here, whatever your main goal is, just break it down to help you to get that. All right. Okay. So Angie, any comment on this?
No, I'm clear.
Okay. So please, I'm asking that we should go back again and watch the video, because I'm skipping some things now because of time. Yeah. But I want us to do this exercise, which I'm going to share on the screen. Share my screen now. So we have 2 exercises. You just give me 10 minutes and then I should be done. The first exercise here is a joy exercise. Yeah. The joy exercise essentially is about, you need to find a quiet place. Think and list all the times you have felt the greatest joy, or activities you have engaged in that made you come alive. What were you doing in each of these sessions, in each of these experiences? What are the common denominator in each of these cases? That common thread shows you what you should be doing. And I give you an example of how I found this eureka moment when I was preaching to a bunch of inmates in a prison. So has anyone had this kind of experience? NJ, do you think you've had this thing? Do you want to spend a moment to just think about that? Like times times you've come alive. Sorry?
Yeah, so for me, it's usually when, definitely when I'm traveling, but also when I'm collaborating with people who they have a certain mindset. So think differently, and then we're working on a project and it's complex. Yeah, then I really feel like I'm coming alive.
Okay. So the exercise you should do after this, please make sure you do this exercise, is to think about it. You just find maybe around 5 experiences in your past, 5 or 3, and look at what's the common denominator. So in this case, in your case, is what you've explained now. It's like you seem like you come alive when you're traveling on the one hand, but on the other hand, you come alive when you are collaborating on complex project. It's possibly things that you're working with a team that are, you guys there's a level of synchronicity, among you. So, but remember, the key thing is joy. Question: these 2 experiences you've mentioned, which one of them gives you the greatest joy?
Wow, that's a tough one, because when I'm collaborating with people, half the time we're laughing, we're exchanging ideas, we're talking about life.
Okay.
And then obviously when I'm traveling, there's just that, the beauty of, the world, God's world, what He's created. So it's a difficult one.
Okay, so I think
but sorry.
No, go on. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, traveling even then would need to involve other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would say.
So although I'm quite, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go on. I want you to process it. Yeah.
Yeah. So although I'd say I'm introverted in many ways, I still love to be around my people, around, people I'm very close to. And so if I were to try, I could travel alone. That's for sure. I've done it before, but my greatest joy comes when I am surrounded by people, and a certain caliber of people.
All right.
Yes.
So what you should write down here now, write down the type of people, the type of people, right? So you're trying to zone it. Remember, you're trying to do something that will make you to come alive. Right now, you are building your company, you're doing stuff. It's fine, But remember, the more you come to realization of your vision, you can even shape the kind of products that you're offering to the marketplace. Does that make sense? That will mean that you are able to wake up in the morning and you are excited to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you should write down now, write down the kind of people that you love working with. That picture that you have in your mind, that when you think about it, working with these people and you're energetic, you are doing something. What are you doing? Write it down. And you see, what are you doing when you are doing that thing with them? Write it down. What problems are you trying to solve? Write it down. How do you feel inside? What were you wearing? How was a smile on your face? How did it look like? Write it down. Am I making sense now? So the more you go zoning into that space that is making you come alive, and you're writing down how does the people look like? How do the people look like? Rather, how is the environment? Write it down. Once you begin to see how this looks like, there's an exercise I'm going to do, which is a final one, which we zone into this. But I think if you just take a moment right now, write that down. Write down, what are we doing? Take a moment, write that down. What are we doing? What problems are we solving? What's the atmosphere in the room like? You can even think of what's the art decor on the wall? The ambience of the room? How does it look? Write it down. Don't hold back. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Yes. Fantastic. Okay, Abner, let's go to you.
Okay. Right. I was thinking it through whilst you were talking to Jerry, actually. I think, for me, one of the things that brings me a great amount of joy is traveling. I love traveling. I love meeting people, exploring new cultures. I love history. So, exploring that brings me a great deal of joy. I love interacting with people generally in terms of networking. That brings me a great deal of joy as well in my day-to-day. For instance, when I'm in Ghana working, one of the things I love doing is going to all these, business networking events, because I love meeting people. Apart from just trying to drum up business, it's really around just meeting people. I feel alive when I'm meeting new people and connecting with people and socializing. So I love that. But on the other hand, I'm also very much a recluse in that I like my own company and I like to be away from people also for long periods of time. But then I get to a stage where I think I need interaction with humans and I go out of the way to get it. So I love doing that. I also love things like reading. So this is where I always find it difficult in terms of, okay, so what are my gifts? I love reading, for instance. That's, one of the things I love doing. I could read anything that you put in front of me, but it's just reading. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I love history and art and architecture, things like that. They bring me joy.
Fantastic.
I love nothing better to do than to lose myself in a gallery on a weekend. And just exploring art, especially African art. So
exactly. So keep talking. Keep talking, because I'm trying to pick it together.
Okay.
Keep talking.
That's okay. Then I love things like that. I love learning new things. What I realize is though is that I'm not consistent with staying with it, because I get bored. So for instance, I started learning the guitar, then after a while I got bored and I abandoned it. But I love learning new things. Learning, to make jewelry. I started doing that until I got bored and I abandoned it. So, but I do love learning new things. But what I realize about me is that I like things that I can finish in, I like short-term projects in terms of creativity, doing creative things, because I find that after a while, I just think, oh, I'm bored. I want to explore something different. So yeah, I love things like that. And what I also find is that I don't do a lot of it, but when I do write, since, I do all this coaching stuff, I write a lot for my social media pages. And I find that, I really get in the zone when I write, and I love writing.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't call myself a writer, but I love writing.
So has it ever crossed your mind that possibly the legal thing is it's not the right work for you? Has it ever crossed?
Well, it's actually crossed my mind that not so much that the legal thing isn't a right work stuff for me, and that what I do in legal isn't right for me. What I actually really wanted to do as a lawyer was a humanitarian work.
Okay.
But for one reason or another, I was allowed, I allowed myself to be dissuaded from it.
Yeah.
And, and this went back to the whole issue around my confidence when I was younger and my self-worth and belief in myself.
Yeah.
So I think, the legal thing isn't right for me from the point of view of, what I've ended up doing, the commercial stuff. I more wanted to do human rights work.
Yeah.
And, at the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, because even now to this day, when I'm in Ghana, and everyone always says this about me, that I'd be a great litigator. When I'm in Ghana, if I step into the courthouse, the Supreme Court in Ghana, my soul says to me, wow, I'm at home. So I know that for me, that's where from a legal perspective, really where I should have channeled my energy.
Okay. All right. So of the things you've said, which one of them gives you the greatest joy? Of the things you said, if you had to pick on the order of priority, which one will you say gives you the greatest joy?
That's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, for me, just being with people.
What are you doing? What are you doing being with people?
In whatever setting. So traveling and meeting new people, networking and meeting new people, just meeting people generally and interacting with them and learning from them and growing from them. That gives me great joy. Traveling gives me great joy.
If you were to be a gallery curator, especially within the African space or whatever, who goes travel, meet new people, collect arts for different galleries and put them there and, go for dinners and stuff and shopping people, all that kind of stuff, would that be something that would light your fire?
I don't know about curating, but I've certainly exploring maybe getting into African art from the point of view of dealing, being an art dealer and a collector.
Yeah. So I think it's about combining the love for travel, the love for art, and the love for meeting people. You need to think of that. It doesn't mean it's something that you have to do now, but it has to be something that you're trying to say, look, this is my end goal. This is what I really want. Because you see, the ultimate thing is that if you are doing something that doesn't light your fire, you would lose interest very quickly. After a while, you say, oh man, I don't want to do that. Because it doesn't align with your soul, with your fire, the fire in your bones, but if you are in the zone, if you're doing something that you really enjoy doing, you're not doing because somebody's giving you money, there's a way you feel inside. And that is what the joy litmus test is talking about. It's like there's a joy factor that you get when you are doing what really, really lights your fire.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, what would really, I don't know about now because I've not really thought about it, is that what would really light my fire? It's really around doing something with a humanitarian bent. So helping people to really reach their full potential, however that may be, I think that's like, one of the things that really lights my fire. So if we go back to law and looking at it from a legal perspective, it would be around doing things related to, helping people who aren't in a position, say, to afford legal representation, help setting up some kind of pro bono unit that would help them, that kind of thing. Because I think for me, what I've realized that generally is at heart, I'm a humanitarian.
Okay. So I think what I think I would say here, Abena, you need to take this exercise. I know you have not watched this anyway in the video, I really want you to spend some time to take it. Don't, as you go through it, keep asking the question. Keep just going. See that picture. The same thing exercise I gave Jerry to do. I want you to do it. This joy. I mean, there are 4 exercises that I put in this module alone that you need to go through it and do it. All right, but I can only cover 2 because of time. But I think I can see a thread here, but I think I can also see the there's a bit of confusion, a little bit. I just saw a little bit of you're trying to put your finger on it, right? But the thing is that you need to get to the point where you can zone into it. Does that make sense? Where you say, okay, this is it, you know, and you get there. You get there because the more you ask the question, the truth of the matter is the answer is in your heart. You understand? The answer is not outside of you. The answer is already in your heart. You just need to ask that question and wait. So there's an exercise we could have done. Maybe we'll do it when we first come in next week. Is about the what do you want exercise, where I'll put the 2 of you together and somebody will keep asking you the question. And that question, it will get to the point, you know. You might want to do it with somebody in your family. Just say, let them sit down with you and say, what do you want? And you just keep talking. In this module, I call it the dream book exercise. But actually, the dream book exercise is what you do with yourself. You ask yourself the question, Habna, what do you really want? But if somebody else does it with you, I call it the what do you want exercise because somebody else is doing it with you. Does that make sense now? You could also do that exercise. So if you take this module, go back and just listen to it and try and do those exercises. And then maybe next week we'll come in, we just quickly do a bit of debrief. I want you to be able to get to the point where you say, Davis, I think I'm getting it now. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. The last exercise we do because of time, please, there are 2, this second exercise, I'm going to skip it. This is the gift paradigm exercise. This is the one where this is where I'm going to stop. Now, in your notebook, the way this one works is I want you to think about 2 unique gifts that you have. 2 unique gifts that you have. So it might be you believe that you're hopeful. I think Angel spoke earlier about, you know, be an encourager, you know, so like to encourage people. What are those 2 unique gifts that you think you have? Angel, are you still there, NJ? NJ, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if you have written it down, just let me know 2 unique gifts that you have. So I'll give an example here. This is for me. The example I put here is just for me. I said, I'm a hopeful person. I'm always hopeful, always thinking the best is still the best lies ahead. No matter how bad things are, just always look at the positive side. So the gift I have is being a hopeful person and being a positive-minded person. Yeah. So I want you to write down 2 gifts, 2 unique gifts that you have.
What, right now?
Yeah, if you can do it now.
Okay.
You do it now. But if you want to, because I just want to, or yeah, if you only don't want to do one, fine. But you know, but I think it's just good to just go through it because I think we overrun our time anyway. But at least next week will be better.
How do I enjoy expressing these qualities when I interact with others? So I went for intuitive and persistence.
Yeah. So you've written intuitive and persistence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Jerry, you've written yours down, right? NJ,
Yes.
you there? Okay. Now the next thing is, how do you enjoy expressing these qualities when you are interacting with others? So if you're a hopeful person, how do you use your hopeful gift when you are interacting with others, right? In my case, I put here to encourage and to challenge.
Okay.
The keyword is enjoy.
Okay.
The keyword there, you remember the joy paradigm, the joy test? The keyword is enjoy. How do you enjoy expressing these qualities that you have when interacting with other people?
I'm not sure how I do that. So my intuition for me works in the form of, obviously, say for instance, if I'm thinking about somebody, that person will come to me in some way, whether, you know, they'll call me or I'll see them or something like that. And my persistence is that just, you know, I'm dogged and determined, but I'm not sure how.
In which way have you used your doggedness, for example, when you interact with others? It might be on a project. It might be that you end up being the person who is the backbone of the project, you know, helping other people to make sure that we get across the line. You know, you see where I'm coming from now? So you have a doggedness that says we got to get it go done, right? But how do you use that doggedness in the context of a team? Because your gift is given to you to serve other people. Your gift is not given to you for your benefit alone. Your gift is given to you to use to serve other people. So when you're a dogged person, you're like zoning and goal getter, in which way have you used that goal getter in the context of other people, interacting with other people, or being a team, and how so essentially that's what we're looking for here.
I have to think about that one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we if you want us to park this exercise, we can park it, and then you take it away, and then maybe we'll start next week with it, because I really want you to do these two exercises I've asked you to do, because it will help you to write that your vision statement.
So you want us to go back through the audios and do all the exercises before next week?
Yeah, 100%.
Including this one.
Yeah. So the exercise, this one that you're seeing here, is actually in the video.
Oh, okay.
So I've already recorded them in the video. I'm only the plan before was if obviously the first day is like it, because the videos some of you didn't get access to the video on time.
So we should have all done this, and then first day would have been different. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Because the way I structure is that you have those videos and the exercises before the class. So when we come to the class, you will have done the exercises. Obviously, there's nothing that beats this kind of interaction when we're talking with one another, because
so we just discuss it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you to do that. Yeah. But I think let me just step through what I put in my own case. NJ, do you want to share something before I continue?
Yeah. So something that comes to mind quite easily for me is, as I've said, I'm an encourager, and like Abena, I love to write, and I actually I love to be humorous. So I have a blog, and plus, I love to send my friends and family chats that are just full of humor and that encourage and stuff. So that's kind of my way of kind of interacting with people using my gifts.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take you on the journey here for 2 minutes, and then you need to do it. You need to do it away like everybody else, and then we can talk about it next week. Yeah. Now, if you think, stay with me for a moment and say, you are using your humor to encourage people. You got to give to humor through blogs or something that just make people happy. Now, the question is that in a perfect world, how would a perfect world feel like to you? If they said, oh, the world is a perfect place to live in, what would a perfect world look like? What would people in that perfect world be doing? Who do you see in this perfect world? What do you see in this perfect world? You understand what I'm saying now? Essentially, if you think to the future and say, if you were given a power to be like God, and you were to create a world wherein you will live in that you call a perfect world, how would that world feel to you? What do people be doing in that world? What do you see in that world? Who do you see in that world? Does that make sense to you now? So essentially what we're saying here, if you are to be co-creators with God, and God is giving you, let's say there's a magic one, there's a wood, Jerry, now go ahead and create a world that you can live in, that you'll be happy to live in. What would that world look like? You see, that picture that will come to you of the world that you would love to live in is actually the world that you desire to create. Actually, everything you are doing in this life, unconsciously, is to try and help you to create that type of world. If you hear Abena's heart, I want to do humanitarian stuff. I want to help people that are less privileged. I want to do this. There's a conversation going on in there that says, there's a picture of a world that I see. And that is the world that I would love to create. So now the question now is how to take these gifts and the way you express that gift to create this world now that you want to live in. Am I making sense now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me sorry, I know you're working with Jerry, but let me just clarify then, because I'm still sort of like trying to see how what I've chosen, the intuition and the persistence, and in terms of using it, as a tool to serve others. So in creating this perfect world, I'm still not seeing how the gift of intuition and persistence, those gifts, I can use that to create a perfect world that serves others. It's a tool that helps me to to avoid danger, for instance, my intuition. That's what I found in life, that it helps me to avoid danger. My persistence also means that it helps me, I suppose, in a way, to encourage others to cross the finish line. And it helps me to stay focused even when I don't want to keep on going.
Yeah. So in a perfect world now, this intuition, how does it help in your perfect world? In this perfect world, where I don't know what that perfect world looks like to you. When you view the world as a perfect world, yeah, is it a place where everybody's happy? Is it a place where the intuition is helping to unblock problems and there are no issues? Is it a world where your doggedness is, building new schools and finishing projects and creating good stuff in the world? Do you see where I'm coming from now? So you have this doggedness on the one hand, and you have this intuition on the other hand. But those things are tools that can serve in the world that you want to create, because this gift was given to you to build a world that will be a better place than how you met it. Making sense now?
Yeah.
So
I mean, the gifts are there for a reason, right?
Yeah. So if to avoid danger, you could see that everybody in the world where you are living in, they are functioning at a higher level of intuition. So they're able to see things before they happen and able to make the right decision. And then you can see a harmonious family life, a harmonious school system. The judicial system is working where the less privileged they are being catered for. Your doggedness is having somebody who's feeling dejected and say, "Oh, I don't want to go again." You say, "No, come on, let's go." You're actually using your doggedness to encourage other people to achieve their goals. And that could be a perfect world. So it's an exercise. I don't know. Is that making sense, Abina?
Yeah, sort of. I have to think it through, or maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Yeah. So if you look at the one I created here, right? I said, in the perfect world that I see, when I close my eyes and say, what is the kind of world that I would love to live in? I would love to create. I said, is a world that is free from fear and limiting beliefs. Is a world where I see everyone is radiant and joyful. Everyone is content at whatever level they find themselves. They are content. There's no people, there's no envy or jealousy or stuff like that. And these people are aligned with their ecosystem. Their synchronicity with the environment. So when I close my eyes, that's what I see. I say, oh, this world, no fear, no limiting beliefs, no like, I can't do this, no, all kind of thought process. And therefore, I then combine my gifts and how I use to serve other people and how I expect the world to be, to then create a vision statement to say, I use my positivity and hopeful attitude to encourage and challenge others to live free from fear and limiting beliefs. This is so that each person can live content and align with their ecosystem. So that's how you take your gift to say, so anytime you're trying to make a decision, you're thinking, okay, this business I want to go into, in which way is it going to help somebody to live free from fear, live above limiting beliefs? And therefore, my choices, my decisions, the things I do sort of keep aligning with that higher level of vision. Did that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. I've just got to think about whether,
Okay. NJ, do you want to comment? I know you were
Yeah, sorry, NJ, I hijacked your session.
No, not at all. No, as you were both speaking, I could see how this would tie into my business compliance, and especially it's not really just the work, it's also my interactions with my clients. Like that's probably one of my favorite parts, interacting with them. They've become, like, I have one client who he shares my love of reading, like you, Abena. And so he sends me books and recommendations and things like that. And as you were talking about intuition and how it ties in with what you might want to pursue, you know, humanitarian law or just pursuing human rights, you really need to have that intuition. Like, for example, sensing that, this woman is going through a really hard time, in her domestic life, but she's not telling you the full story. But your intuition will tell you that there's more to this story. So that's what came to mind when I was thinking about how it might tie in with you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you for that. Hadn't looked at it from that angle.
Welcome.
That's good. You see, NJ is coaching now, which is very good. It's kind of feedback system. Very good. I love that. I love
the
that.
beauty of interacting in this way.
Yeah, and at times, people when they step away from, and I think the reason why I allow you to talk, Abner, as well, is because I realize at times, you have these things in your mind, and the more you talk, the clearer it becomes. It's just like, okay, oh yeah, so that's what is it? Because at times talking to yourself will not bring that out, but as you talk to somebody else, you just saying it, and then you just keep on going. It's like peeling onions, right? You're just peeling the layer, and then you get to the point, right? So
it's just constantly asking the why, and the why, as you said, you peel off each layer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, NJ, do you have any last comment?
No.
All right. So you have this assignment, both of you, for everybody, and whoever is going to listen to this, essentially go back into the course that's been done. I think about 7, or I can't remember how many lessons are there, but short lessons, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Please go back and watch it and do the assignment. These exercises are very, very important, because once you understand your life's vision statement, every decision, every goal, every actions flow from there, because all of a sudden you just say, hey, no, this one, does it align with what I'm trying to do? And please don't rush it. If you try to do it, get stuck, just take a moment, take a break, walk away and come back to it. But please let us do the exercises. And next week, what we're going to probably do is spend the first 10, 15 minutes, just go through this exercise, make sure everybody's clear. We have that, and then we can move it into the next level. Yeah.
Okay, then.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining. Any last words?
You.
Any last words?
Okay. I've taken a lot from today already. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
You so much.
Me too.
Thank you, Coach Abena, and thank you, CEO NJ. Yeah, for being part of the program. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week, calls.
Yeah.
See you in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Bye.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.